This is the plaintiff, Rita McNulty. She says the defendant is her pain-in-the-neck, good-for-nothing son-in-law, and the louse ended up totaling her car and never told her about it. Turns out he had an ex-girlfriend in the car at the time of the crash, and thank God her daughter finally opened her eyes and left this thug. Bottom line, he owes her $3,000, which she's suing for today, and then she never wants to see him again because he's a loser. This is the defendant, Anthony. He says he's basically married to the plaintiff's daughter and the plaintiff because she's one meddlesome woman. He did borrow the car because he had to discuss something with his ex. He ended up getting T-boned by another car. Now the plaintiff's out for blood. Bottom line, the plaintiff is trying to break up her daughter's marriage with him, and he simply doesn't owe her all this money. He's accused of distracted driving.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Rita McNulty?
Yes.
You are suing Anthony. You've asked us not to mention your last name. Your son-in-law for $3,000 in damages you say you incurred when he, without permission, took off with your car and crashed it. Tell me
Correct.
what happened.
I got a call February, I think it was the 12th or 13th, from my insurance company asking me if my husband was okay. And I was like, what are you talking about? They were like, your husband was in a car accident. I said, when? Where? What happened? And I come to find out it wasn't my husband, it was Anthony.
How did he come into possession of the car?
I loaned my daughter the car, which is his wife, and she used the car for emergencies only.
Where's your daughter? That's not her?
No, that's not my daughter. She's
Why?
not
Why
here.
isn't she here?
She's home with a set of twins and 2 other children.
And 2 of them are twins and they're his?
Yep.
Okay. So you get this call, you think it's your husband, then you find out what it was, and did you talk to your daughter?
Called my daughter right away.
And
I
what
said,
happened?
where's my car? And with that, she put Anthony on the phone.
And what did he tell
And
you?
he proceeded to tell me that he had a car accident at 10 o'clock in the morning on Sunday.
And this was on what day?
It was probably Thursday, I believe.
So he hadn't told you that he had a car accident?
I had no idea.
This was how you were finding out. All right,
I
he says,
found
I
out
had
by
a
the
car
insurance
accident on
company.
Sunday, and what?
And I says to him, what happened? And he proceeds to tell me that it was the other car's fault. They ran a red light. They hit him. I said to him, were you alone? He says, yes. I come to find out he had some hooker in the car, probably getting a... is why he ran the red light.
Wait. How did you come to find that out?
On the accident report, when I finally get the accident report.
Do you have the accident report?
Yes, I do.
May I see it? Do you have a hooker in the car?
No, I had my ex-wife in the car.
Sorry.
Is your ex-wife a hooker?
No.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, if you borrow somebody's car and it gets hit by somebody, even if it's not your fault, are you responsible to the person you borrowed it from?
I don't know if I have full responsibility, but I feel like it's only the right thing to do.
Maybe the right thing to do. I'm asking, is it the legal thing to do? Are you responsible?
I think, yeah. I think you'd have to be responsible for at least finding the person responsible for it.
But if you can't find that person, are you on the hook?
Yes, because I think it's your fault. You were driving the car.
So you were driving the car, but the accident isn't your fault.
Well, the person who hit you is responsible.
Right, but you can't find that person maybe, going inside the courtroom.
You folks live in New Jersey, and the car was where? Where was the accident?
The accident was in Brooklyn, Sunset Park, Brooklyn.
What were you doing with her car in Brooklyn with your ex-wife in the car?
Well, my ex-wife had said that she had problems with my son, who was 10 years old. His name was Anthony Jr. She needed to talk to me about it. She was in hysterics. So I took a trip into Brooklyn to talk to her about that, and it was about 4 o'clock in the morning. It was the middle of winter time. There were ice all over the streets. It was really bad weather. I went to stop at an intersection. I slid through, and I was T-boned by another vehicle.
Were you supposed to be stopping?
I was supposed to be stopping. It was one of those issues where it was like the light was turning yellow. Can I stop in time? Okay, let me stop. But being the conditions of the road, it kind of just slid
So you're the
into
one who ran the
intersection.
red, technically, and not the other party.
Yes.
Okay, did you tell her a lie and because she's difficult?
I didn't tell her anything about it. What happened was...
First of all, yeah, exactly. Why didn't you call her on Sunday and tell her about the accident?
I had told her the day after. It wasn't, she's claiming it was 4 days later. It was the next day I told her.
Yeah, why didn't you tell her right afterwards? It's her car. Why didn't you tell her?
Because it was, what happened was it happened at 4 o'clock in the morning. It obviously couldn't be dealt with.
What were you doing at 4 o'clock in the morning with your ex-wife in the car? Because it's starting to look like it has nothing to do with the 10-year-old when it's 4 in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, that's just...
Really, yeah, because that's the hour that you had to talk to your ex-wife. Is your daughter with him?
Not now, thank God.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah. She finally smartened up. He's trying to get back. He's been calling her every day.
Does she know this, that the ex-wife was in the car?
Yeah.
Did you know it was the ex-wife?
No, I had no idea.
Are you learning this for the first time now?
Yeah.
So where'd you get that it was a hooker? Made it up?
That's who she decides to call every other female in the world besides herself.
So were you cheating on her daughter with your ex-wife?
No,
yes.
it was supposed to be a conversation about my son with her.
Why is it at 4 in the morning?
Well, because it was supposed to be at 10 o'clock at night, and then all of a sudden I get into the city with traffic, this, that, and the other thing. Then she's supposed to be there.
You know how it is. You get 6 hours of traffic to get from... Come on, man.
He had to steal my car.
Ni tú mismo te lo crees. You don't even believe your own lie. How are you going to make me believe it? You got to give it a little seasoning. Season up the lie a little so I can believe it.
That's what happened.
Yeah, right, it did. I hope your daughter doesn't buy it.
She's not. That's why he says I'm trying to break up his marriage. He's breaking his marriage up by doing this stuff, not me.
Did you have a good relationship with her before this?
Well, with her? No, I never had a good relationship with her.
Why? What was the problem?
She was just, what happened was that there was a extreme amount of debt that was left by our previous boyfriend. The mother was hoping some knight in shining armor like Daddy Warbucks was come along and square everything away. I wasn't that guy, you know what I mean? I didn't go to college. I enlisted into the Marines instead of going to school, what have you. I didn't get an education. I work, regular crappy jobs just like everybody else. And I could afford to pay rent and, live and pay bills like everybody else, but I can't afford to straighten away people's debts. So being her daughter didn't find this knight in shining armor, I was like the biggest piece of trash in the world to her right off the rip.
Well, come on, you were in jail for 3 years.
Were you legally married to her daughter?
Yes.
So you're legally married now?
Yes.
And are you together or not together or what's going on?
I mean, we've tried to reconcile, then, the family gets involved, and, oh, he did this.
So it's not just her, it's other parts of
the
the family too that don't like you?
Well, yeah, it's like, this.
Well, I mean, this doesn't do a lot to ingratiate you to people.
Listen, there's a history of...
So but why is she having to sue you for this money? What is your defense?
I don't have any defense. The bottom line is my mother-in-law let us use the car. She let us use the car. I was driving the car back and forth to work, this, that, and the other thing.
Right, and you crashed it.
And I crashed it.
Right, so how come you haven't made arrangements to try to pay this off or something?
I tried to have, but she was saying initially that a certain amount of money was paid for the car, that it was some kind of a situation where there was... I can't remember whether it was somebody she knew or some kind of elderly person that didn't have any use for the car that gave her the car for like a really cheap amount of money.
Do you have the bill of sale for the car?
Sure do.
Let me see it. What did you think the car was sold to her for?
I was told it was somewhere like around $2,000.
Okay, it's not. It's a little more than that. But what it is $2,400, and I don't care. And the reason I don't care is because if someone gives me a good deal, I'm the one who's entitled to have the good deal. You understand? So what I figure out that the car is worth is based on Kelley Blue Book value or any other Blue Book value. You understand? Mm-hmm. Because that's what got damaged. It's the value of the property that belongs to her that you damaged. And if it was a gift, it wouldn't matter. That doesn't mean you owe her zero if somebody gave it to her.
Never said that.
Right. So this doesn't matter. The Blue Book value is more than that. You ended up with towing charges. Let me see your bill for the towing. And then storage.
And
what
then
happened with the storage?
Well, he kept saying he's going to handle it, he's going to handle it, he's going to handle it. He never handled it. I had to come to New York City.
Did you tell her you were going to handle it?
Basically, I told her because she said she wanted to attempt to salvage the motor in the car. I looked into what it would cost to tow the car from Brooklyn to New Jersey, and it was at that point going to be more than like what she even paid for the car.
But you're wrong, because she paid $400 to do exactly what you're talking about. Well, so I don't think you really... I think that once it no longer suited your nefarious purposes of borrowing your wife's mother's car to go at 4 in the morning and be in the car and get caught with your ex-wife, You don't really care. You weren't handling it. You weren't doing anything to get it out of there because there was 21 days of storage fees that she also had to pay. I mean, how is that right?
Well, no, again, I had made arrangements and had said to her, listen,
You know what? Can I just tell you something? You made arrangements and it's just a lot of flapping gums because at the end of the day, you cost her a lot of money. And she may be the worst person in the world, okay? She may be the most difficult mother-in-law on the planet. But none of that matters because at the end of the day, when you talk about how what she wanted was a daddy Warbucks to come on in here and solve the problems, maybe she'd be satisfied just with a guy who doesn't cost her $3,000. You don't have to add money, but do you have to subtract it? Verdict for the plaintiff, $3,000. That's a statutory maximum.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, obviously, there is no love lost between this plaintiff and defendant. Anthony, if you'll step over here, please, just for a minute. The judge just didn't buy your story. What do you have to say?
I can care less. Let her get her money. That's it.
Okay? You say, here, wrong way. You're going the wrong way. That's the jail that way. Ms. McNulty? Well, I don't know. Again, unreal reaction here. Are you trying to break your daughter up?
Absolutely.
You're doing your best to do that?
Yes, I'm doing my best.
All right. You
Hopefully
satisfied
she
with what you
smartens
got?
up. Yes, I am.
Good enough.
Thank
Okay.
you.
You may sign some documents, and that's it.
Thank you.
Harvey?
So there's actually a term for this in the law, Doug. It's called loan for use. And that basically means if you borrow somebody's stuff and you're not giving them any money for it, and they're just doing it to be nice, you have to use great care. It's such a high standard. If there's any damage, basically, you're responsible.